All right. Hi, everyone. My name is Adriana and I work for Benito County Free Library, and we're presenting Erica from Public Health, and she will be doing a presentation today. Let me go ahead and transfer it to her.
Thank you so much, Adriana. So like she mentioned, my name is Erica and I work for the Calfresh Healthy Living Program at Benito County Public Health Services. And so we are going to start our 5-lesson series today, 5 nutrition classes over the course of the month. And we hope, that you learn something new and valuable in each class. So we'll go ahead and get started. Let me go ahead and share my screen. So you guys should be able to now see the slides, correct? You can do a thumbs up, There's also the reactions on the little Zoom buttons down here. So thank you, Julie. And so if you have any questions, or for those logging in later, if you guys have any questions, feel free to drop them in the chat box, and Adriana will let me know when there's something in the chat. So I'm really excited. So let's get to it. So this is just our Justice for All poster. There's a link for it. This is the presentation funded by the USDA's Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program, or SNAP, which in California is known as Calfresh Healthy Living. And so SNAP/Calfresh is an equal opportunity provider and employer. So just a disclaimer we have to do. And so just a few reminders, if you could please mute yourselves, which I do see, we have, and then, feel free, if you feel comfortable turning on your camera or not. You could always also participate via the chat box, as Adriana mentioned. So one of the first things that we will be doing, since we are doing a 5-class series, we're going to do a pre-test. So we ask that you go to the link here, and this is the program ID. So maybe Adriana, can you please put the PAIRS program activity ID in the chat box, please?
You want me to type in the number or the
number? Yeah. And so we'll because what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on this link, and I'm going to walk you guys through it to see. Actually, I wrote it down here too, so we can all do it together.
Okay, perfect.
Perfect. Thank you. So let's get started. So I'm going to click here, which I'm going to, on here, I already have it up. This survey is sponsored by the California Department of Public Health. This survey should take about 10 minutes to complete. It includes questions about you, what you eat, where you get food, kind of just to get a feel of where participants are prior to these lessons, right? We're never going to ask for super personal information, and it's just to get some general information about the public. So what I'll do is I'll go ahead and hit next. Again, I'm filling them out as myself. You on participants on your end, you guys fill them out with your answers. And then these will be sent to us via the link that is provided. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to put the program ID. So 386782. I'm going to put the first letter of my name. I'm going to put the first letter of my last name. So find it. Okay, and ask for a birth month. So go ahead and everyone put their birth month and birthday. So I'm putting mine. And then once I have that, I'm going to go on to the next one. Yes, Julie, if you could also, that's why I'm sharing my screen. So you guys could kind of follow along, but answer them, according to yourself.
She's asking how do we want to maybe copy the link from the beginning? Because maybe she couldn't scan the QR.
Sorry, let me.
I guess we should have mentioned that a little earlier. Oops.
Yeah, Julie, let me put it in the chat box. My apologies. Okay, so let's do. I'm putting in the chat box now, but you're able to see my screen, right? Like the survey. Okay, perfect. Okay, perfect. So there's the link. Our apologies. So and this will be during this lesson. this will be the first time we complete it, and then we'll do a post at the end of the 5th one. So, okay. So hopefully, yes, if you want to follow along, Anna and Julie, feel free to do that. So I'm going to put my information here. I put just the first letter of each of my first and last names. I do put the program activity ID, and then birth month and birthday. So I do see that somebody joined. Hello. Welcome to the class. We're just getting started. My name is Erica Perez, and I'm from Calfresh Healthy Living at Public Health. And so what we're doing, if you go to the chat box, I believe you should see previous messages, right, Anna?
Yes, it should have the survey. Nope. Okay, I'll post it again.
Okay. So what we're doing for our program, we're just doing a pre-survey, just since it is a 5 lesson class. We're doing a pre-survey this class, and then we'll do a post at the 5th one. So Adriana is sharing the survey link, and then the program activity, PAIRS program activity number. So to plug that in. So go ahead and do that. You could follow along. I'm going to do it. And so that way you guys could each kind of see how to do it, and you guys put in your own information in there. So we'll go ahead and continue. So I did that first part. So these questions are about the ways you plan and fix food. Think about how you usually do things. So I'm going to answer just for me, but you guys on your end, answer them as you would, honestly, right? Because this is what we're trying to find out, right? Just where people are. Sometimes, no. How much fruit do you eat every day? Okay, so it's showing you the different measurements. So do the different measurements as you would. And then how many vegetables do you eat each day? Again, honest answers. So, and then asking you, do you eat more than one kind of fruit each day? And then do you eat more than one kind of vegetable each day? And then do you use this label when food shopping, which we'll get into that in these classes. So do you run at the end of the month? Okay, and then we go. So it's just 6 pages. And again, I hope you guys are following along. If not, we'll keep posting this in the chat box, but ideally it'd be nice for you guys to be doing this at the same time in your own computer. So let me show you. Okay, and then it asks you during the past month, where did your household do most of your food shopping? Okay. So for this one on the map, I think you could search your city. And I'm just going to put the city. You don't have to get into specifics. I mean, you could probably zoom in if you'd like, but I'll just leave it at that. So hopefully everyone is, you guys are going at your own pace. And then these questions, I don't have children, so no. I'm going to put my age. Oh, not yet. Okay, and you could female, male, other, and then the ethnicity. Again, you could also choose to prefer not to answer. So it's fairly quick. It's just to get an idea of where people stand. And then it submits, and then our end, it'll connect to this lesson. So hopefully, you guys are able to do that. And so with that, I will then, let's see, go back here to my PowerPoint, because I know you guys are now seeing this slide, but we're going to go ahead and to begin. So again, feel free to—
somebody new. I'm just going to put the survey again and put the code number.
Yes,
Claudia,
thank you.
When you get a chance, if you can do the survey that I am posting on the chat.
Yes. Thank you, Adriana. And so, yeah, for those that are new, welcome. We're just getting started. We did a pre-survey right now. So those that are just joining, Adriana's dropping the link in the chat box. So we'll go ahead and get started. So, feel free to, again, unmute yourselves or in the chat box, participate. Or you could use the reaction. So how many of you guys have seen this logo? Okay, I have 1, 2, I have seen it. So this is called MyPlate. And so some of you are familiar with it. So for today's class, you'll have a better understanding of how MyPlate can help you make healthier choices and get all the nutrients you need each day. So today, the objective of today, we're going to name out these 2 food service assistance programs. We're going to just be able to, you'll be able to describe MyPlate and the 5 food groups. You'll also be able to modify a meal to reflect the MyPlate guidelines and also state 2 ways to include physical activity in your routine. So the key message will be, how MyPlate can help you make healthier choices. Okay. All right. So what is MyPlate telling us? So you see here, what are some things that you guys noticed on this icon of MyPlate? What are some things that that stick out to you guys? Again, you could unmute or type in the chat box.
The different colors.
The different colors, yeah. There's the different colors. So each category has its own color. Anyone else?
More veggies.
Yeah, more veggies, right? So if you notice, the portion size of the vegetables and the grains are about the same, a little bit more, right? And then you have fruits and protein, which are a little bit less. And then, of course, you have your dairy on the side. And so, yes, the different portion sizes. Thank you, Julie. So does anybody remember the food pyramid? So the MyPlate replaced the food pyramid in 2010. So this is like our new food pyramid for like the last 12 years, going on 12 years. So, again, food is super important culturally and just with family, and it helps us survive, right? So food gives us nourishment, enjoyment, and it gives us different things to help our muscles move, including our hearts and lungs. It helps feed our brain so we can think clearly, and it helps us grow, right? It replaces cells that are in our body. Fun fact, a red blood cell lives about 120 days and then it's replaced. So food gives us all these things, right? And so more specifically, who can tell me, again, chat or unmuting, what does food provide? What are some things that food provides?
Energy.
Energy. Yes, nutrients, correct. Very good. What else? Water, yes, very true, because we do get water in some food, definitely. Yes, so you guys are all correct. You get energy in the form of calories, carbs, protein, fat, and then you have those essential nutrients found in different foods. So like vitamins A and C, iron, calcium, sodium. There are also things like fiber and water, as Rafa mentioned too. And so foods have different combinations of those nutrients, right? So some foods may be similar, are grouped together, right? To make making like a 5 food group. So for example, like think of like a taco or, a lasagna. There's different food groups that make the dish, right? And so with MyPlate, it makes it easier for you to get the nutrients your body needs, right? And we'll learn more in depth, like I said, as we go along in the classes.
So like if you were thinking of like a soup, like let's say like albondiga or albondiga soup, would that fall within that plate?
Yeah, so the plate is more just like a visual, like to get the 5 food groups, right? So a lot of times for example, when we do other classes or even with kids in schools, they'll be like, so I have to have everything like that. I'm like, no. It's just as long as you have foods from those food groups. So, for example, if you make, for example, a soup, you have your albondigas, you have that would fall into the protein group. And then I'm thinking you're probably going to add some, veggies there. So that's your vegetables. I know some people sometimes like to add like rice on top of that, like in the caldo or in the soup. So that's green. So, and you could have like a fruit on the side as a dessert. So there's ways to incorporate foods. And sometimes it is hard to incorporate, obviously, in our meals, the 5 food groups, right? But as long as you have them throughout the day, you're good. And we'll learn a little bit more about that. Let's see. I just had abondigas today. Nice. I'm sorry to say they're not my favorite, but I know people love them. Okay. Let's go on to the next thing. Okay, let me change the slide here. Okay, so we're going to learn a little bit about the cost of food. So how much does it cost to feed your family healthy meals and snacks? Think about that. So did you, like, for example, for everything we know how much money we need, obviously, for things to, like, maybe your car insurance or electricity bill, right? But do we really know how much it costs to feed a family, especially on a budget? So
Are you asking for a month or per week? Oh, okay.
Just kind of for you guys to think about it right now. So for the average cost for a family of 4, it's about $157.60 a week, right? So this includes healthy foods, but it does not include cleaning supplies or eating out. And so this number is calculated from like Calfresh, the Calfresh food program. So for those that stepped in a little later, I work for the Calfresh Healthy Living program. And so we're the educational component to Calfresh food. So Calfresh food is essentially, used to be known food stamp program, right? So we kind of partner with Calfresh. So we're just giving a little bit of background here. And so the average cost for a family of 4 is, like I said, $157 roughly a week. So that's about $22.50 a day for breakfast, lunch, dinner, and snacks, right? So how do you guys feel about this information? Does it surprise you? Why or why not?
No, it doesn't surprise me, especially if you have kids.
Yeah.
Like that 22 is not gonna make it sometimes.
Yeah.
Luckily I don't have little kids, and I just kind of sometimes feel with little kids, you end up spending more, not necessarily because you didn't, like, you're getting them everything. It's because a lot of the times, even though the food doesn't make it to their mouth, it goes somewhere else.
Yeah. Or sometimes, they don't like certain foods, so you have to get them other things. So definitely. So hopefully, like I said, by the end of these lessons, you guys pick up some tips and tricks, right? To kind of, get kids to eat different types of foods, or even just, stretching your dollar a little bit more. So thank you guys for participating. And so how to get help. If maybe you or someone is in need, right? There are these different programs available. So as I mentioned, we do have the Calfresh Food Program, which, folks could apply online, or they could apply in person or over the phone, Health and Human Services. So I do have the numbers here and the address here if anyone needs that. I'm assuming you all live in San Benito County, there's also the Community Food Bank. And so the Community Food Bank is really great because they don't, you don't have to do any long applications or anything like that. It's pretty much like a attestation. So you could just go, and then they have drive-through pickups. They also have a mobile pantry, so that goes to different locations. So there's a lot of different ways to get in touch or to obtain food from the food bank, and they're great. I have their phone number here and their address too, and their hours. Another program that we have here in the county is the WIC program, so Women, Infants, and Children. And this is for pregnant mothers and children up to 5, so that it's, education, and it's also as well as like food vouchers. It used to be checks, I believe, a long time ago. I used to work there, so it was checks at the time, but I believe now they have a card, almost like to an EBT card. That you could, provide groceries for your families, for your children. And then, of course, the free and reduced lunch program. I know, there's about 13 districts here in San Benito County, but I know the biggest school district, which is Hollister School District, does provide free and reduced lunch to all students. Our county qualifies for that. So that's also a resource. And, during the summer, they do provide summer lunches to the community, to children under 18 during the summer in different locations, different partner locations. So definitely, you can get in touch with your, whatever district corresponds to you if you have children. So that is that.
I had
So
a
now-
question for the
Yeah.
summer lunch meals.
Mhm.
I'm not sure if it happened during COVID. I know in the area where I'm at that they would bundle up like a whole week's worth of food. So
Mhm.
and it's not bad. I mean, I think that's a good idea because all kids couldn't make it at a certain day out of the week. Do you guys do that also?
Yeah, so that would be, I believe that was Hollister School District, right, Anna? That was
I'm
doing
gonna
that?
say they did do that during COVID. I know that they changed it. Now they are doing a free lunch. So at the school sites.
Mhm. Yeah.
Including the library, we also give out a free lunch for anybody that's 0 to 18-year-olds or lactating mothers. So we continue this program year round as long as the Hollister School District provides its lunches.
Yeah, and they're great. I mean, I feel like they've really tried to expand their reach, especially over the summer, because kids are out. And I think you're right, during COVID, they kind of bundled them together to reduce, person interaction during, when we were going through the thick of COVID. So yeah, so these are resources out there. So just wanted to share those. And then which one did you guys find most interesting? Or maybe one that you maybe didn't know too much about?
Are you talking about from what you just listed right here?
Yeah.
Well, I found interesting the free and reduced, and I believe you said it was free and reduced lunch for the entire Hollister district.
Yes. I want to say it's maybe their second year that they've qualified as all students in their district get free and reduced lunch.
What
It
qualifies them?
I think certain community parameters. I'm not too sure on that, to be honest, but maybe I could get in touch with someone over there and give you guys more information next time.
It's okay. I was just curious about what are the requirements for somebody or for a district to qualify.
Yeah.
So as far as I know, because I'm actually in contact with Ann Pennington, they had to submit paperwork, obviously, to say that we qualify under the free lunches. And that's how they ended up getting into it. I don't know exactly what what data it was, but I want to say it was either, I don't know if it was like low income data to say that we qualify for free lunches for all. But we can get more details with Ann Pennington. Hopefully we can get that for the next meeting.
Awesome. Thank you, Anna.
I think
All right.
what I found interesting. Oh,
Sorry. No, sorry. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, I think what I found interesting, it wasn't listed there, but what Anna had mentioned about the lactating mothers, I didn't realize that they also got the free lunches during. I'm not sure if it's just summer or overall throughout the year.
Yeah, that's pretty interesting. That was something I learned too. So it's pretty great.
As far as I know, Ann Pennington had told me all year round. 'Cause I actually did a summer internship with her. And she has said that lactating mothers would receive it because whatever they're eating, they're giving to the babies. So I think it's all year round, as far as I know.
That's awesome. Awesome. Thank you guys for participating. All right, so now we're going to move on to MyPlate. We're going to break it down a little bit more. So as you can see, we have the different colors. So obviously the fruit group is in red, and it's slightly less than a quarter of the plate, same as the protein in purple, right? Vegetable in green, you can tell it's a little bit more because we want you guys to get more vegetables. And as far as grains, it's almost the same size, a little bit less actually than vegetable, but that's because we get, our energy from the grains group. And then over here on the side, of course, the dairy in blue. It is the fifth one, even though it's, a little off to the side. And so notice on the bottom of the handout, there's the pink, like the extras, right? So the foods we want to limit, right? Those are things that have high added sugars, saturated fat, high sodium, things like that. And so we want to make sure, we're trying to have variety in what we eat. So this is a little bit more breakdown, right? So, and just keep in mind that this is based on a 2,000 calorie plan. So everyone is different. It really depends on your age, and you know how active you are, and your gender. So this is just, again, the general recommendation, right? So take a closer look at these, and we're gonna dive in right now to each one. Notice how each one has the different portion sizes, right, for the quantities that we need. So we'll dive into fruits first. So fruits, we definitely want to make sure we're eating whole fruits more often than not, and we can choose 100% juice when we would like some juice. So there's all kinds of different types of juices out there, but the key thing is to find something that says 100% fruit juice in it. And so we also want to try, you know, to make sure we have variety, especially if we're trying to, you know, to work within our budgets. You could try fresh, you could try canned, you can try it dried or frozen, fresh, of course. So definitely, you know, have variety in that. And we also want to try to include at least one citrus fruit a day. So that would be things like oranges, grapefruits, tangerines, lemons, and limes, right? Overall, this food group, you know, that's where you get a lot of your vitamin A, vitamin C, a lot of fibers, phytochemicals, and minerals, right? And so who would like to share maybe one type of fruit they had yesterday?
I think Gloria has her hand raised.
Oh,
Yeah.
Thank you.
I had actually a question from the previous slide,
Oh,
but
yeah.
I do want to share my fruit. I did end up eating some pineapple yesterday.
Oh, very good.
So, but my question from this, like, remember how you mentioned that this is like an average overall, but you said it could be, I'm noticing that there's the website in the middle. So it says it's personalized. So is there components where you can just like type in and it'll kind of personalize it just for you?
Yes. So if you were to go to this website here, the supertracker.usda.gov, you can, I think, you know, type in probably your age and other like specific information in regards to you, and then it'll kind of help you create a plan and probably tell you. And of course, you know, we always do recommend to consult with your physicians, you know, because everyone is so different. You know, the MyPlate, what it is the general, but you know, the generalized version. But you know, sometimes you have folks that, you know, have different dietary needs with things like diabetes and things like that. So this is more of like a general overview. But
Or like
yeah.
would it have a section like if you're allergic to something, like you could put that in there? Or
yes, so that's definitely where it would be like personalized to you, right? For example, and you'll see like even when we talk about dairy, you know, we do recommend like 1% or low fat skim, you know, dairy milk, but we know that there's some folks that are lactose intolerant, for example, or maybe they have a gluten allergy, so maybe they can't, you know, eat certain grains or drink certain types of dairy, but there's alternatives like, you know, almond milk, oat milk, things like that. So, or gluten-free products, right? So, very good questions, Gloria. Thank you.
Quick question. I was trying to actually look the link and I'm not able to get it online. So I don't know if it's still under Super Tracker or is it choose MyPlate.gov.
If you go to MyPlate.gov, there should be something there along those lines. But you know, it could be, I don't know, maybe things have changed since last
I'll see
year,
if I
but I'll look into it too.
Okay, sounds good.
Thank you. Great questions and great feedback, guys. So we were here. Oh yeah. So then somebody, I think Gloria said she had pineapple. Did anybody else have anything? A fruit yesterday? Anytime?
I can't remember what I ate yesterday. I was trying to really think about it. Although I do have a bunch of fruit at home. I have tangerines, pears, strawberries, blueberries, and watermelon.
Very cool.
And we have Julie who said grapes. And then yes. I guess if you guys really want to know what I had a smoothie yesterday with strawberries, bananas, blueberries, and peaches.
Very nice. I
And I
had a
had-
banana.
And I had an orange today.
Nice. I don't know, bananas, I guess, are my go-to because they're so quick, you grab them on the go. And then some raisins on my oatmeal in the morning. So very good, guys. So on to the next thing. So vegetables. So you want to have a variety. You want to, try to mix in some darker greens as well. And there's things that you can do to, add them to your dishes. Maybe dishes that you don't normally do, but maybe you could try adding them more to like your sandwiches, your wraps, your casseroles. Again, same thing applies the fresh, frozen, or canned. It's also really important when you're looking at the canned vegetables to look for things that are, say, reduced sodium or no salt added on the label. And so again, with vegetables, you're getting, all kinds of vitamins, things like vitamin A, vitamin C. Of course, vitamin A really helps, our skin and eyes, and then vitamin C with, helping us heal if we're sick, if we get cuts, and of course, loaded with fiber. So fiber is important too because it keeps us full. So go ahead and let's see, we'll go to the next one. So next you have grains. So there's a variety of grains. And I don't think it was until I saw this picture, I was like, whoa, like there really truly is, some are certain staples. And so, let me backtrack a little. For both vegetables, as you can see on this one, vegetables and fruits, you're going to want to have 2 cups a day for fruits. You're going to want to have 2.5 cups. This is again, the general 2.5 cups for vegetables. And then for grains, you're going to want to have 6 ounces, dairy, 3 cups, protein, 5.5 ounces. So you might say, well, what exactly is a cup, right? We don't go around walking around with measuring cups, but if you make a fist, that fist is a cup. What fits in the inside of your palm, that's half a cup. So keep that in mind, right? So 1 cup again would be like 1 large banana is a cup. For, let's see, for vegetables, you're talking like a large bell pepper, that's 1 cup, an ounce. So 1 ounce counts as like a slice of bread, right? So if you need like 6 ounces, if you have a sandwich, for example, that you're getting 2 ounces there. For, dairy, same thing, 1 cup, about a fist. Usually, they're in little containers already, things like that. And then for your protein, the 5.5 ounces. So 1 ounce of tuna, or like 1 tablespoon of peanut butter, or 1 egg. That would be 1 ounce. So more on those in just a sec.
Can you tell me again, how did you measure the ounce with your hand?
Not the ounce. So for a cup, a fist would be a cup. And then if you just get this part of your hand, like your palm, that would be half.
I never heard that before. That's interesting.
Yeah. It's one way to really kind of measure it out.
Yeah.
Because, we don't.
But it's an approximation, right? Because if some people have bigger hands, like they have a little
Exactly.
extra. Okay.
For example, like my portion, right, of a fist is totally different than like a 5-year-old's, right? And
Right.
that's when I go back to like everyone, based on age, gender, how active they are, their needs are going to be different. But again, this is the general version.
Also, I didn't. Oh, I'm sorry, Erica.
No, go
I was
ahead.
just going to say, I didn't know about the citrus, that you're supposed to have a citrus, some type of citrus every day. I didn't know about that. I've never heard that before. That's interesting.
Glad you're hearing something new. Yeah, I think it's because those vitamin C, to help our immune system.
Right.
It's really important. So thank you all. I appreciate all the feedback and the interaction. This is great.
Sure.
Okay, so grains. So there's a ton of different grains, right? The most common ones that we think of are things like, bread, pasta, tortillas. When really to know what is a whole grain, we really have to look at that nutrition label. So you want to look for words that say whole or whole grain, right? Because a lot of times, like, I don't know, you see, for example, in the grocery store, like maybe a loaf of bread, that's the wording almost makes it seem like it's whole grain, but it's not. It literally has to spell out 100% whole grain for that to be whole grain. And there's so many different things too, like whole grain pasta, whole grain tortillas, rice, things like that. I know it's not as common, and I think that's where just, in general, as a whole, we could do a little better of like switching things up and adding more whole grains. Maybe if you and your family don't really care for whole grain pasta, maybe make sure, you swap out that white bread and get whole grain bread. So just making small changes, to making sure you're getting all those nutrients in. So for example, grains, you're getting a lot of B vitamins, the fiber again, to help us feel full and that energy, right? That's where the grains group, we get a lot of our energy. So looking at this picture here of the examples of whole grains, who would like to share maybe one of the things that you have tried from here?
I know I've tasted like the barley drink, like as a drink. Like, I don't know if
Okay.
you've ever had it, but the first time I
not.
tasted it, it almost gave it like a coffee flavor, but it's really good.
Okay. That's interesting. Thank you. Anyone else?
Quinoa and oats.
Quinoa. Very good. Thank you.
Same, oats and quinoa.
Very good. Yeah. Oats, pretty common. I try to have that at least like 3 times, some oatmeal, at least 3 times a week. Oops. And then some wild rice too. And it's actually longer than your normal rice grain. It's very good. Thank you. All right. So let's go to our next food group. So with dairy, so there's a ton of different types of dairy, right? Like I said, what we want to try to do though is choose 1% or fat-free. Of course, we do know that there's people with food allergies or they are lactose intolerant, right? And that's when we want to try to do like, lactose-free milk or fortified soy or like the other types of milks like almond, oat. I feel like there's so many. But they would, even though they're not made of dairy, they would kind of be grouped into this category, right, as a milk alternative. And so dairy is super important because, it really helps fortify our bones. It has the calcium we need for strong bones at every stage of life, and then also vitamin D. Really important. So any favorites in this group?
I have a question for
Yeah.
lactose, because I'm lactose. So do I still get like the same amount of vitamins for being lactose compared to the regular milk?
So I know like for those other types of milks, they try to have the same type of vitamins and minerals as you would in milk. And I think in one of my upcoming slides, you'll see, especially like for the dairy milk, the vitamins and minerals are there, and you just see the different levels of fat in it. So, but yeah, definitely. I know like those other alternatives, they definitely try to pack those nutrients in there too. Good question.
But as far as the good stuff, it's the cheese.
The cheese. Cheese is delicious. That's probably one of my favorites too from this group.
I had another question on that.
Yeah.
Not the cheese, but like that 1% milk. I actually never purchased it myself. I just but has anybody ever tried that 1% to try to make like hot chocolate with like the abuelita mix? Like, how would it come out if anybody has done that? Like,
I have not done that.
I can say for lactose, it's really sweet. I've done it with lactose milk, the abuelita, and it comes out sweeter. So I feel like I have to put more water to kind of like balance out the sweetness.
That's interesting. Yeah. Yeah, no, I've never tried it with that. Okay, good question. All right. Thank you for sharing. We'll move on to the next. So how are we doing on time? Okay. We got a little time. We'll kind of power through. So again, protein, we want to make sure we have a variety. As you can see here in the picture, you have things from eggs, of course, the different types of meats. So you got your fish, your chicken, beef, things like that. And then some nuts. And we really want, with the protein, we want to make sure you have a variety, right? And it is recommended to eat seafood twice a week. And when you're choosing your cuts of meat, try to choose the meat that has less fat, right? Definitely, rule of thumb is for ground beef, that it's at least like 93% lean, that we get less fat. And so what we get from this group, right? It's pretty obvious. Obviously, we get protein, but we also get iron, we get zinc, we get vitamin B12, and so much more. So definitely really great to have variety. And I know some people, really love their meat, but there are ways to still have protein and not eat meat, right? So what are some like good alternatives to that? Like say alternatives to meat that are, still part of the protein group. Yeah, Elizabeth?
So tofu.
Very good. Yes. Tofu definitely lands in there. So a lot of people that are vegetarian or, vegan, they definitely turn to that. What else?
It was the portobello mushroom one of them or no?
Portobello mushroom would fall under vegetable, but I know you could definitely, create a healthy dish with that. And those are very tasty, actually. You could do also things like beans. I know like for Hispanic households, beans are like staple. They're always around. And so that's a really good source of protein, a meatless protein, right? And things like lentils and such. So yeah, that's a little bit about protein. So we're gonna go ahead now get into the fun part. So it's like, how can we build a healthy plate, right? And so Adriana's going to put in the chat box a link that has information. So we're pretty much going to kind of go through that, the one that's called Let's Eat for the Health of It. So Adriana can go ahead and do that, but we'll go ahead and begin here. So basically the handouts, we're going to talk about how we want to build a healthy plate by cutting back on foods that are high in fat and sugar. We want to eat the right amount of calories for you and also be physically active. So the first things first, we want to make sure half our plate is fruits and vegetables, right? And sometimes we might think, well, how can I do that? Again, most fruits and vegetables are naturally low in fat and calories. And so by filling half your plate with this, you're going to get those nutrients that you need without getting the extra fat and calories. So anyone want to share either in the chat box or unmute a type of fruit or vegetable they had last night? And if you didn't, last night for dinner, if you didn't, that's okay, right? Because each day is a new opportunity to try to incorporate these. Oh, sorry.
Man, I feel bad because like my half wasn't like half of the plate. It was half of it, but vertical.
Vertical.
Because like I had like a tostada.
Oh, okay. Well, there you go. And what did you add to it? What did you add?
I don't think you guys want to hear what I put on my stuff. I put a lot of stuff that's probably not healthy.
Well, hopefully there was maybe one vegetable in there. And if not, that's okay. Because,
No, yeah. I put like lettuce, tomato, aguacate, and then, but the bad part, I guess, is I mix it up with mayonnaise. Like, and I know it's supposed to be a little bit, but I just, I need that little bit of flavor. And then I also saw on the meat, I also did a bad no because like I also got pork, like al pastor and stuff like that.
Well, thank you for sharing. That sounds actually pretty good. But yeah, just making maybe some changes, maybe less mayo next time or less pastor, right? Or maybe like some chicken, right? Okay, so definitely like one of the key things though is, with the MyPlate, we want to make sure half our plate is fruits and vegetables. As you can see here, they have a sandwich that has some veggie already in there, but also some fruits, some vegetables on the side. And then here for tacos, they have, some type of probably ground beef, and then they have the salad on the side, or, you could put it on the taco too. So, oh my gosh, I'm going too fast. So what am I doing? Okay, sorry. So the second thing is we want to move away from the whole milk, right? And we want to move to fat-free or low-fat or 1% if, you're able to. For those of us, maybe that are lactose intolerant, we have those other options as well. And this slide's pretty cool because it just kind of shows you. So this first one right here, the 150 calories from the 1 cup of serving comes from whole milk. And you could see that it has high fat. It has protein, but it is high in fat, whereas the 1% over here to the right, less calories. And notice how the saturated fat is a lot less. Same amount of protein, right? You're getting the same nutrients down here on both, but we're just getting less fat, which is what we want. And so this is a visual that I was telling you guys about. So for example, what you see here, the one with more yellow in the cup, that is whole milk. So that's, this is probably like an 8-ounce cup. And so this shows us the level for whole milk. The one over here, and I'm signaling to that one, is 2%. You can see it's less, but it's still there. And then you have in the back here, that 1%. So it's a lot less. So let me just share something with you guys. So for a cup of whole milk, you're getting 150 calories. Cup of 1% milk, 100 calories. If you do whole milk, 2 cups a day, right, for 7 days, you're looking at 2,100 calories per week. However, if you do 1% milk, you're looking, 2 cups a day times, the 7 days a week, you're looking at 1,400 calories. So it's definitely a lot less. And, as we know, calories add up, which then, depending on our level of activity, then leads to, maybe weight gain and such. So by drinking low-fat milk, it saves you about 700 calories, which can add up to 10 pounds per year. So, fun fact. And so the next key message is we want to make sure that half your grains are whole, right? So here we have, what exactly is a whole grain, right? So there's 3 parts for a whole grain. So you have the bran, which is high in fiber and high in B vitamins. Then you have the endosperm here, the middle part, which is mostly starch. And so on the bottom, you have the germ, which contains B vitamins, some protein, healthy oils, things like that. So when, for example, we're looking at white bread or white rice, white pasta, that's mostly made from the endosperm. When you see something that says 100% whole grain or made with whole grains, they're using all of the grain to make the product, right? And that's the one that has majority of the vitamins and minerals. Because again, the endosperm, like that white bread or the white rice, is pretty much starch, right? Most of the bran and the germs is where the nutrients are, and that gets taken away in the process. So definitely important, for our bodies. We want to feel full. We want to get those vitamins and minerals found in the whole grain. So again, making those 6 ounces that are recommended, maybe make 3 of those like a goal to try to make switches, right? Like if I've tried the whole grain pasta, I didn't like it, but maybe if the bread, you can eat 100% whole wheat bread, make that substitution, just finding ways that fit with what you like and your families. Because I know it's a little hard too when there's multiple folks at home, right? And so we want to vary our protein, right? We want to make sure we switch it up. So you can maybe do like a turkey chili one day and have your fish, right? Or chicken, or even like beans or lentils, things like that. So you want to keep those meat and poultry portions small and lean, like I said. So a portion size for a cooked meal is about 3 ounces, which a lot of us, I feel, eat more. I'm probably guilty of it too. So this is 3 ounces. How many of you can think back and be like, oh yeah, I probably eat a little bit more than that? So, we want to make sure we're kind of being mindful, right, of the portions, and, definitely having that variety. For example, with beans and lentils, for example, they're really high in fiber and protein, and they're, less expensive. So now that those are the key messages of what we want to eat, let's look at what maybe we should cut back on. So we definitely want to cut back on things that are high in fat, sugars, and sodium. And so we will explore a little bit more. You definitely want to choose foods and drinks with little or no added sugar. So sugar is found everywhere. You're talking drinks, you're talking food, snacks, you name it, right? So some sugar is found naturally, like for example, in fruits or in dairy products, right? A naturally occurring sugar. But then there's also the sugar that's added. And so this poster is really neat because you really see all the different types of names of sugar. And so, you know, added sugar, you could find that in soda, fruit drinks, sports drinks, energy drinks, even coffee drinks, right? Teas, all that have added sugar. And then also snacks, right? You have, you know, sometimes we think certain granola bars are healthy and they're actually really high in sugar. And of course, you have your desserts like cookies and pastries and whatnot and ice cream that are also high in sugar. So ways to reduce added sugar is we want to read the label. That's really the biggest thing we could do is read the label, you know, informing ourselves on what are in the labels. Anything that ends in OSE, as you see here, like fructose, dextrose, maltose, or glucose. Any syrup, that's also an added sugar. So there's so many drinks, right, that I have added sugar. So the biggest thing is to drink more water. Rethink your drink, as we say in our program. You know, we want to drink water instead of sugary sweetened drinks, and you could spice up water, make it nice and refreshing by adding some herbs or some fruit. Very tasty. And so we're going to have a whole lesson. The 5th lesson is all about sugary beverages and calculating, you know, how much sugar are in popular beverages. So hopefully you guys could come back for that. It is part of the series. It will be the last one. So Adriana, how are we doing on time? Yes, thank you. I do see that. So let me wrap
Okay.
this up. No,
I just want to make sure you saw that. I didn't want to interrupt because it was so interesting.
No, thank you. I did see the little chat box light up. So for sodium and salt, a lot of these things are found in like a lot of mixed foods, like things like pizzas and burgers and things like that. Of course, you have, you know, things like chips and crackers of such that are salt, you know, with salt. So ways to reduce that as well is you want to try to eat more at home, home prepared foods, right? We want to check the label and check the content. And so sometimes too, I think maybe, you know, when cooking at home, if they rely on salt to give it flavor, you know, definitely try adding spices or herbs to season the foods instead of salt. And then also eating fewer foods that are high in solid fats. So a lot of times they include like the mixed dishes. So like the burger sandwiches, things like that, cakes, you know, ways to reduce solid and saturated fats. You would want to select leaner meats as mentioned, right? And lower fat milk, as we saw in the graphic. And also switching from solid fats, say like, I don't know, butter, or, you know, in some Hispanic cultures, sometimes they'll use lard, but switching from that to oils when preparing foods. So, you know, olive oil or canola oil, things like that. Next slide, let's see. And again, you want to enjoy your food, but you want to eat the right amount of food, right? Think about if you're eating because are you hungry or are you stressed, or is it because you're eating in front of the TV? Are you bored? You know, kind of get in touch with your hunger cues. You know, sometimes, I mean, I'm even guilty. It's like, I still feel hungry after I ate. And then I'm like, you know what? I'm thirsty. And so I'll make sure I'll drink some water and things like that. And it's like, okay, the hunger goes away, right? But just being really in tune with your bodies and knowing, like, if I'm getting full, why am I still eating? Okay, I'm bored. Okay, let me stop. Or, you know, sometimes the traps are eating straight from the bag or eating straight from the box. So maybe, you know, making sure we're taking out the portions first and putting the box or the bag away. Definitely, yeah, enjoying our food and eating less. And so it's no surprise also that our portion sizes have gotten bigger. So this picture here, you see this plate, and this is the same amount of cereal, but just notice how this plate is smaller and this plate is bigger. So the bigger plate gives the illusion of like, oh, well, it's not full. We could fill it up some more, but it's actually the same amount. So definitely being mindful. And I'm going to have to stop it there due for the sake of time, but thank you all for joining. We will continue this lesson. There's just a few more slides for this one, and then we'll jump into the next one. So you're looking at the 5 lessons. Today was building a healthy plate. So we were talking about the food groups and our foundation. Then we're going to talk about planning healthy meals, how to read a food label, shopping on a budget, and rethink your drink. So I really hope that you guys could, come back next week, same time, 6 p.m. So we could keep learning about all these different topics. And hopefully you learned something new today. If you have any questions, definitely put them in the chat box, and we could pick up, next week.
And I will be sending an email with the other links that we did not get a chance to put on the chat, just so you guys can check those out. 4 o'clock with Erica, right, Erica? I believe so, yes. So if you do, I can send that link as well if you want to join us. It will be a different topic to the adults. And we will be doing that tomorrow at 4 o'clock. And if you have children, we will be doing some story times as well. Next week will be a nutrition story time for the English story time and bilingual story time. And I think that's it. Does anybody have questions before we conclude our presentation? No? All right. Thank you, everyone.
Yeah,
Hope you guys
thank you
can
so
join us
much.
next week at 6 o'clock here on the Zoom link. All right. Bye, everyone.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Bye.
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 Have a good evening. Bye, everybody.